Agent, I am Prosecutor Phil Jones. I wonder for the benefit of the court if you could just introduce yourself, please.
My name is Ryan James Lothian. My team performed forensic analysis of Mr. Cavendish's phone.
Thank you. I wonder if you could please enlighten the court as to what qualifies you to conduct a forensic examination and provide expert witness testimony.
I am a qualified forensic investigator, as are all members of my team.
Okay. Can you give me some explanation as to how you first became involved in this investigation?
The police contacted me and my team and provided the BlackBerry phone and asked us to investigate it.
Okay, we'll discuss the BlackBerry phone in a minute, but I think it might just benefit the court if we perhaps start at the beginning. How did the BlackBerry phone become a feature within the investigation? Mr. Cavendish stands here charged with an offence of Computer Misuse Act offence, compromising a computer with a view to stealing money from it. So can you please explain to the court how Mr. Cavendish began to feature in this investigation?
Is your question regarding the acquisition of Mr. Cavendish's phone or the entire story?
Well, how did we arrive at a phone? How did we arrive at Mr. Cavendish in a situation where we felt it was necessary to examine his phone? What led the police and the law enforcement to that phone?
We had testimony from Mr. Cavendish's boss saying that he was able to, he worked upon a laptop which was believed to have been compromised, from which bank details may have been stolen.
Okay. How do we think that the computer was compromised?
We're not sure the mechanism by which it was compromised exactly. We know that it was at A1 Computers from the end of August until early September, and that Mr. Cavendish was responsible for working on it. So he would have had access to it at that time.
Now, I understand that this computer belonging to the victim was subjected to a forensic examination, and you've had benefit of reading the report with regards to that. Can you summarise maybe some key evidential points within that computer that might link with the BlackBerry phone?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Refer or help the court by referring to any key evidential points within the forensic examination of the victim's computer that gave a link to the BlackBerry phone?
Can I phone a friend?
Yes.
Guys? Okay. So forensic analysis of the laptop indicated that an SD card had been connected.
Let me stop you there for a moment, Mr. Lothian. Can you explain to the court what an SD card is?
It's a memory card that might be used by cameras or phone to store documents, pictures, music, any sort of data.
Thank you.
Now, I know that, as you say, there was a reference to an SD card having been connected to the computer. Where specifically was the data that indicates that contained?
That was contained in the system registry. I have the document in front of me.
I wonder if you might just explain for the court what the registry is.
It's the configuration used by the Windows operating system that was installed on Mr. Kniver's laptop.
Is it effectively the configuration settings?
Yes, that's correct. And it also contains logs of some events that have occurred.
Okay. So there's a link to an SD card. And ultimately, Mr. Cavendish was arrested on suspicion of this offence and found to be in possession of the BlackBerry phone. Do you have the phone that you could show the court?
Yes, the phone is here and it contains the SD card mentioned.
Okay. Just explain to the court how the exhibit is packaged in order to, in a way that maintains continuity and integrity of the exhibit.
Okay.
In an ideal scenario.
So these items were acquired by PC World when he searched Mr. Cavendish. They were then bagged. This bag was kept closed until opened by my team.
Is there any markings placed on the bag in order to identify the exhibit?
Yes, an ID number was put on the bag, allowing an electronic record to be referenced.
And in the ideal situation, would there normally be anything on the bag that would indicate that the bag had ever been opened?
The bag would contain the full history of operations that occurred on that bag and any previous bags that were used.
Very good. Now, if we just move forward to the examination of the BlackBerry itself, I wonder if you could just summarise succinctly what the key evidential points were that arose from your examination.
Okay. We found Mr. Kniver's bank account number and sort code stored on the phone, And we also found a photograph of a computer monitor showing Mr. Kniver's online account. We also found that on the 1st and 2nd of September, the phone was used to forward these bank account details to 4 gentlemen named Mark, Dave, John and Steve. We found the following conversation recorded on the device in which the user of Mr. Cavendish's phone admits theft. Received, just spoke with my mate Steve, says you've hacked some guy's account, and then sent from Mr. Cavendish's phone, shh, yeah, not taking funds myself, too dangerous, but selling the info for 10%.
Okay, so we know that it would appear that the user of the phone was involved in the laundering of money or was involved in stealing the money in some way. Are you able to provide any, or did you find any data that linked the BlackBerry with the infection of the victim's computer with the virus?
Can I consult with my team? We didn't find any evidence of malware planted on the laptop.
Malware, Mr. Lothian, what does that mean?
Unwanted programs such as viruses that could be used to steal information or to damage the computer.
Thank you.
So, other than some activity concerning the bank account and the laundering of money, can you enlighten the court as to any data that you've recovered that indicates that the defendant was involved in the actual computer compromise?
Quick as you can, please, Mr. Lothian.
No, I do not have that information.
Okay, can you provide any other information that the court might be interested to hear with regards to your examination?
Yes, I found a photograph of an account that received 4 payments of £2,000 each on the 1st and 2nd of September. If you recall, I mentioned the figure of 10% was received in a message earlier. So £2,000 is 10% of £20,000, which is the amount stolen from Mr. Kniver's account in each transaction. So this matches up with the evidence already seen. We found Mr. Cavendish's phone had been used to search for expensive items and diamonds, and offers to take Miss Louise Garrett to a luxury 5-star hotel in the south of France. We also found an encrypted TrueCrypt folder on the memory card.
Oh, I wonder, just for the benefit of the court, could you explain what encrypted means and TrueCrypt? What are these things?
So TrueCrypt is a particular encryption method, a particular brand of encryption. It's a way of hiding what was stored on the cards. So without knowing the password, we would not be able to determine what documents or images were stored.
So ultimately, did you discover that password?
Yes, but the way we discovered it was Mr. Cavendish kindly told us the password to that.
That was very helpful of him, wasn't it?
Indeed.
Yes. Is there anything else you can add to the case?
Yes, I can detail what was found within the encrypted folder.
Yes, please.
We found hacking tutorials, financial records...
Hacking tutorials. Can you explain that in a bit more detail, please?
Tutorials used to train skills used for computer crime.
Thank you.
We found financial records for a company called Hensor Civil, and we also found a BlackBerry phone password.
Right, so with regards to the records regarding that company, can you offer any explanation as to why they might have been there, or what would be the purpose?
I do not know why they may have been encrypted on Mr. Cavendish's phone.
With regards to your examination of the phone, what processes or methods did you use to conduct the examination?
We had read-only access to the SD card, which means that there was no way that our team could inadvertently modify the card.
And how could you be certain that that had actually taken place and that you had protected the integrity of the device?
We used a hardware device that enforces that.
And in particular, are you able to refer to any mathematical function or any software tool that enables you to show or demonstrate that the device was not altered?
Within the XRY software which we use to image the card, we would have checksums of the data when it was first read, which could then be compared with the current card if you so wished.
All right. I wonder if you might just be able to refer to, perhaps for the benefit of the court, some sort of real world analogy as to what a checksum is.
Okay, so a checksum is a fingerprint for some data. So if we modified the SD card in any way, there is no way we could modify it without changing this fingerprint. So any sort of modification that would have occurred would be very obvious when we compared the old checksum with the new checksum.
That's time. Thank you very much.